Hey, folks, how you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce for the American Liberty Radio Network. American Liberty Radio on Spreaker.com. How you doing? Are you good? Are you happening? Are you there? Are you enjoying this day, the 25th of April, 2017? Oops. Hitting my mic with my bill of my cap. There we go. Yes, okay. Have to adjust. Anyway, folks, there's a concerted effort from the liberal left, from the Marxists. There's a concerted effort to shut down all conservatism. Sean Hannity basically is being targeted as well, and Bill O'Reilly is back on podcast form. But there's a concerted effort with the Democrats. There's a concerted effort for them to shut down any type of conservative thought, shut down any type of conservative radio, television, everything. Now, when I say that, what comes to mind, and what came to mind earlier before stepping up to the microphone today, was the fact that when you have two factions of a political party vying for supremacy, you are going to have conflicts because they're both of the same party, but they're both trying to win the hearts and minds of the American people. Well, we all know that the Democrats are nothing more than closeted communists. We know this. I mean, if you don't think it, if you don't think they are, I mean, there's a definite problem here, folks. I don't now. A, not all Democrats are communists. B, not all communists are Democrats. So we can take that argument to a whole different level too. But then again, who decides, who grabs the gold ring, the brass ring, whatever you want to call it? Who decides that? Who takes into consideration that there's that there are winners and losers in this? Who decides that? Who puts themselves at a level at which determines the outcome for one political party, not two? Let's get rid of that thought right now, okay, folks? We are dealing with one political party in America. One. Not two, not a Democrat, Republican, not conservative, liberal, not you name it. Fill in the blanks. We're dealing with one political party, folks. One. Has nothing to do with politics. The process by which we understand all this, that too, but the process by which they perform their duties in the nation's capital is called politics. If you don't believe me, it's in everything we do. Whether you work at a fast food joint, whether you're a school teacher dealing with the school board, whatever small company you have or medium-sized company, you're dealing with the process of politics when you try to get something done. Okay? We're dealing with one political party. We're dealing with one political party in the United States of America. There's no doubt in my mind about that. None. Zip. Zero. Zilch. Nada. We look at the situations. We look at the situations that we have in life. We look at the situations that we have in this country. And we look at the circumstances by which these things unfold. Now, check this out. We have one political party in the country. We have two factions vying for control of the processes of the United States of America and of our allies. And the one last thing that we need to see is, under what circumstances do the situations call for public, you and I, public intervention? At what point do we get involved? You know? I've not once seen someone, I have not yet seen someone step up to the plate and literally take the bull by the horns and tell the politicians enough's enough. Oh, I've seen a lot of people on the sidelines say that, but I haven't seen anyone get into the mix and just put their hands up and look at these people, these politicians, and say, enough is enough. I haven't seen that yet. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, or hasn't happened. I just haven't seen it. We can rally, we can protest, we can do everything that we need to do. We can go out in the streets, we can, march down, some street that nobody knows of in your town and nobody sees you. We can do this, we can do it. The politicians are going to be sitting up in their ivory towers of their offices looking down on us going, geez, what are those peasants doing? Is it any wonder that we don't get anything done? Is it any wonder that nothing gets done? And if it does, it's so minute, so small, so unheard of sometimes that it really doesn't change anything. Or does it? Does it? Does it change things? Does it move the hearts of certain politicians to make decisions based upon what the people want? We don't see that. Or at least we don't see enough of it. And that's what I want to talk about today. How much is enough? How much is enough? How much do we, the people, take? And how much are we going to take? How much are we going to deal with before we finally blow a gasket? Not go crazy, not go, completely insane in our retaliation against the mainstream media or against the, Democratic Socialist or the fascist Republicans. No. No. How much are we going to take? How much are we going to deal with until we just step up to the plate and stop this bullcrap? How much are we going to take? And it's not only Fox News, Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly getting targeted. I do believe that they are targeted, that's in air quotes, targeted individuals. But Alex Jones is getting sued by Chobani and Soros-backed lawsuit. Chobani, the yogurt people. Alex Jones makes a statement in clarification regarding the recent lawsuit by the United States' largest yogurt maker, Chobani. I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio Network podcast on Facebook. I just cannot and will not put up with ignorance. I've told people that before. I will not put up with ignorance. Will not ever in a million freaking years put up with ignorance. I just won't. I just won't. Now, when we look at what is out there, when we look at what is happening around us with North Korea and all this stuff going on, and the riots in France and all that, when we look at all of that, when we examine all of that, what is the main thought behind creating that type of chaos? What is the main thought behind that? Who's at fault here? Okay, who's at fault? Wow, sorry. Stomach decides to gurgle. Sorry about that. The San Francisco Gate basically is a newspaper at, let me go tell you, sfgate.com. My question is, what is behind people's motives? What is the thought behind doing something destructive or political or nefarious or evil or, I don't know. What is the thought behind all that? Over 40 marauding teens storm Oakland train, rob and beat passengers before escaping. Flash mob crime mirrors similar incidents across the country. BART police are beefing up patrols at Oakland stations after dozens of juveniles terrorized riders Saturday night when they invaded the Coliseum station and commandeered at least one train car, forcing passengers to hand over bags and cell phones and leaving at least two with head injuries. The incident occurred around 9:30 p.m. Saturday. Witnesses told police that 40 to 60 juveniles flooded the station, jumped the fare gates, and rushed to the second-story train platform. Some of the robbers apparently held open doors of the Dublin-bound train car, while others streamed inside, confronting and robbing, and in some cases beating riders. And Keith Garcia, a BART police officer and union president, said, "I've been there 24 years, and this is the first time I've heard of anything like this happening." There's a video associated with this, folks, so I am going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. As soon as the thing decides to work for me, I don't know. I have a feeling, this is just me. This is just me. Okay, this is just from my perspective. I have a feeling that parents aren't parenting, but that's just me. Wow, sorry about that. Ugh. Should have ate them. If you heard that, my stomach is gurgling. My apologies for those extra sounds. What goes through your mind when you see or hear about situations like this? What goes through your mind when you hear about teenagers or people rioting, just because? Well, these 40 to 60 teens, apparently in this report, were bored one night and decided, well, let's go and rob some people. Well, to me, that's a gang. To me, that's a concerted effort by this gang to terrorize the neighborhood I've been in San Francisco. I used to live in California. I've been there many, many times. I've, matter of fact, ridden that particular train. The story is up on American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. The thing is, and here's the big thing. How do people say enough is enough? When is it going to be the time when people finally say, screw it, I'm taking matters into my own hands? Okay. Now, the law would say, well, we prevent you from doing that. No. No. California now is and as of the 25th of April, 2017, and I've said this last week and the week before and all of this, but I am going to reiterate and continue to say it until California citizens get the clue. Especially my friends in Stockton, California, where I was born and raised. Especially people in Sacramento that have to look at that state capitol and know that a dumbass idiot is residing there, ruining your state. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to continue to say this until the people get the freaking clue. California now is a communist state. It is a communist state. In its true nature of communism, it is a communist state. Okay? Nevada, is where I used to live as well, is a fascist state. Same thing, just another brand of totalitarianism. California is a communist state, period. It takes people to get out of California, to move away for a while, to look at the politics of what's happening behind the scenes there in Sacramento, to understand what is actually going on. And what is actually going on is Governor Jerry Brown has, pardon my descriptive nature here, but California Governor Jerry Brown has a hand up his ass, and the New World Order creators are using him as a puppet to destroy California, one of the richest states in the United States of America. That's what they're doing. They've already destroyed it by allowing illegal aliens in. They've destroyed it by allowing the domestic terrorists, the street gangs, to just run rampant throughout all the streets. And they could solve the problem by one little thing. I know this is going to sound controversial, but you can kiss my ass. This is what they have to do. Open carry, period. I do not give a rat's ass what you think. California has to be an open carry state. The license that people need to carry a handgun on them is the Second Amendment of the Bill of Rights of the United States of America prior to 1871. You want to control that state. The politicians are out to destroy it. The citizens are out to build it up, to make it better, to create a stronger environment for innovation and all of that. But you've got a governor who is dead set against creating a stronger state. I believe, and you people in California need to do your homework, I believe that George Soros and his organizations that reside in California, that are funded by Soros organizations across the country, and George Soros himself is controlling Jerry Brown for the sake for the purpose of destroying the state of California. Period. California is a communist state. End of sentence. That's it. That's it. California's done. Nevada's on its way out. Washington is screwed. Have you seen where the terror cells are? Yes, FBI's own documents leaked through people that have to be there to let us know what is going on, has shown that there are terror cells in California, in Oregon, in Washington, in other parts of the United States. And all those other states that the terror cells are in are controlled by Democrats, period. Go look it up yourself if you don't believe me. This is the 25th of April, 2017. This is American Liberty Radio Network. American Liberty Radio on Spreaker.com. American Liberty Radio podcasts on Facebook. AmericanLibertyRadio.com. And I gotta mention this because, well, I don't always, but I want to say this. There's someone out there in the alternative independent media that needs your help, and that is Mr. Nick Tucker. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. And if you can help him out, great. He would appreciate that very much. Go to Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook, if the page is still there, because Facebook is censoring people like him and I. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook, or more, to contact him, you can go to his Facebook page. You can also go and contact him on gab.ai. Go to Distorted Reality N as in Nick, T as in Tucker, Nick Tucker, Distorted Reality NT on gab.ai. Contact him there and ask how you can help him. Also, go check out Mr. Brian Lang at Live Truth Radio and Television at livetruthradio.com. Go check him out as well. And check out, of course, Alex Jones. Go check out Michael Savage. Go check out all these other folks that the Democratic Socialists and Communists are targeting for elimination. Yes. You like the way I put that? Because that's basically what it is. That's basically what it is. Excuse me, my sinuses hate me today. That's basically what it is. All right. I don't see a way around this until the people take matters in their own hands. Am I calling for a coup? No, I'm calling for the constitutional effort of the people to do what they need to do to stop this crazy train from derailing. Oh, and by the way, let me remind you of something, American people. Let me remind you of something. It's very, very, very important. Okay? Very important. It says here, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, including women, that that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, which means they cannot be taken away. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is what I want you to know. This next thing right here that I'm going to read to you from the Declaration of Independence. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. You and I, folks. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such forms as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and according to all experience, hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Period. I will not tolerate anybody in this country that wants us to cater to them. Okay? I will not put up with that. I won't. And as far as I'm concerned, these folks that want you and I to follow a more deadly form of law, these people are now put on notice by the rest of the United States citizens. We know who they are. Now, here's something else. And then I'll go to break at the bottom of the hour. Here's something else. Whoa, I just looked at the time. When I come back, I'll give you something else. This is American Liberty Radio Network. You can find me at AmericanLibertyRadio.com. If you have any questions, please ask. Because, hey, you never know unless you ask, right? I mean, right? So, AmericanLibertyRadio.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. I shall return right after this. Growing up terrestrial radio, the future is here. Destroying the liberal media, one truth bomb at a time. Independent media is shattering the liberal national security media into a million pieces. Their views of the world are based on the script the government gives them. Independent media seeks out and finds the truth and reports on what is truly going on behind the scenes. Support the truth and facts. Support independent media. The reality underneath the honesty. LiveTruthRadio.com. Check out Late Night in the Midlands with your host Michael Vera at LateNightInTheMidlands.com, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Go to LateNightInTheMidlands.com. The world as we know it has been turned upside down. The leaders are faced with possible annihilation from their enemies. The United States is at the brink of a total collapse. This is the reality we live in. What can be done? The truth, the facts. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Hey folks, how you doing? This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.com, at American Liberty Radio on Gab.ai. That's at American Liberty Radio on Gab.ai. Washington, D.C. to hold massive quote-unquote coordinated terror attack drill this Wednesday. Quote, on April 26th, we'll go one step further and stage a realistic emergency event involving multiple sites and actors posing as casualties, unquote. And this is from Zero Hedge on the 25th of April 2017. That is today. And as Zero Hedge says, as we reported on Friday, that's when Operation Gotham Shield, an exercise involving FEMA, Homeland Security, and a myriad of law enforcement and military agencies, and which simulate a nuclear bomb blast over Manhattan, is set to conclude. Jade Helm, anyone? Then, as we learned earlier, April 26 is also when the entire Senate will be briefed by Donald Trump and his 4 top defense and military officials on the situation in North Korea at the White House, an event which Reuters dubbed as, quote-unquote, unusual. On April 26, tomorrow, is also when the USS Carl Vinson is expected to finally arrive off the coast of the Korean Peninsula. Now, in a statement from the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments, the regional association reports that, quote, law enforcement officials and other first responders will participate in a full-scale exercise on April 26 designed to prepare for the possibility of a complex coordinated terror attack in the National Capital Region, unquote. The statement adds that emergency managers who work together at the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments plan the exercise to help protect residents by preparing for an attack involving multiple target locations and teams of perpetrators. The exercise will be conducted across a widespread geographical area. According to the release, the regional exercise will be staged at 6 sites in the District of Columbia, suburban Maryland, and northern Virginia, and will involve hundreds of police, fire, and emergency medical service personnel and volunteer actors. The locations include neighborhoods in the northeast and southeast quadrants of the District of Columbia, Prince George's County, and Arlington and Fairfax counties. Residents in those neighborhoods will be notified ahead of time to expect the exercise. According to Scott Boggs, Managing Director of Homeland Security and Public Safety at COG, quote, law enforcement officials practice and exercise their skills on their own regularly because that's the best way to ensure we are always ready to respond quickly and professionally. On April 26th, we'll go one step further and stage a very realistic emergency event involving multiple sites and actors posing as casualties. However, there is no reason for residents to be alarmed because the exercise will occur in a controlled environment, unquote. Boy, does that sound familiar. I'm going to put the rest of that on, with the full statement. I'm going to put the rest of that on American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. Boy, does that sound familiar. I ain't kidding you, folks. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? That sounds like something that happened about 16 years ago. As of today, the London Independent is reporting Donald Trump attacks UN officials over North Korea and Syria failures as they sit beside him. The president calls for the UN to reform, but thinks it has potential. Donald Trump has called the Security Council's inaction against Syria's President Bashar al-Assad alleged use of chemical weapons as a failure while they are sitting next to him after a White House luncheon. The president said he is disappointed because the, quote, UN doesn't like to take on problems and said the 15 member countries of the Security Council have remained blindfolded for decades to taking action on threats like North Korea. That one's going up on American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. I'm going to say this once, and I'm going to make this very, very clear, okay? The UN is the global mafia. What? Yeah, you heard me right. The United Nations was formed out of the remnants of the League of Nations, and before that, it was something completely different. And it was kind of strange that around the time it was formed, it was also another place around the world that another group of people formed an organization that meets in Dresden, Germany this June. The Bilderberg Group. I'm going to say this, and let me go into this direction and tie this next article into it. We need whistleblowers. We need these people coming out, former current members of the government, telling us what's going on. If Trump is serious about holding these people accountable and throwing their asses in prison, then he is a traitor to the country. You heard me right. If he decides to drop his witch hunt for leakers and whistleblowers and all that, then we will know what's going on behind the scenes. Because I would even ask President Trump, what do you got to hide? There are certain secrets that the United States government, through the Department of Homeland Security, the National Security Administration, the Pentagon, all of these other areas that we want to know about. And don't give me this crap that you don't want the enemies to know about it. By the way, by the time you come up with the idea and in less than 24 hours, your enemies already know what you're going to do. Not because of WikiLeaks or Julian Assange or Edward Snowden. No. You know what? You got moles in your own freaking departments. I'm speaking directly to Washington, D.C. You have moles in your departments. Don't even ask me how I know this, that it's a fact. But I know that you have moles in your department. You have not only moles, but I know this for a fact too. You've got spies in your departments. Let me give you a little hint, Washington, D.C. You should take a very close microscopic look at your liaison departments. Seriously. If you have questions, you come and ask me. We'll sit down, I'll buy you coffee. You've got moles all through Washington, D.C., specifically in areas that you might believe are secure. So I'm going to leave it at that. How do I know this is fact? I'm not going to tell you. Washington, D.C. If you want to know, come to Billings, Montana, and I'll buy you coffee and we'll talk about it. All right? Now, here's something else which is really, really strange to me. As of yesterday, Infowars.com has reported Trump meets with UN for war permission. President calls for meeting with Security Council over global instability. That was yesterday. David Knight analyzes the latest geopolitical news, including President Donald Trump's meeting with the United Nations Security Council. Now, remember, I'm going to put that one up on the Facebook page. Okay, American Liberty Radio Podcast. Now, that was yesterday. Okay. As of today, Donald Trump attacks UN officials over North Korea and Syria failures as they sit beside him. In other words, did he get the permission? Did he not get permission? This is something interesting, huh? Was it? Now, here's something about UN, and I said UN is the global mafia. Jamie White at Infowars.com. UN adds Saudi Arabia to Women's Rights Commission, prompts backlash. Women are second-class citizens in Saudi Arabia. The United Nations has elected Saudi Arabia to their Commission on Status of Women, prompting backlash from human rights groups worldwide. The Gulf state is now the 45th country to sit at the UN panel tasked with, quote, promoting women's rights, documenting the reality of women's lives throughout the world, and shaping global standards on gender equality and the empowerment of women, unquote, according to the UN website. The announcement has drawn strong condemnation from human rights groups like the NGO, non-governmental organization, watchdog UN Watch. Quote, electing Saudi Arabia to protect women's rights is like making an arsonist into the town fire chief, unquote, said UN Watch executive Hillel Noor in a statement. Quote, every Saudi woman must have a male guardian who makes all critical decisions on her behalf, controlling a woman's life from birth until death, unquote. Quote, Saudi Arabia also bans women from driving cars, unquote. Currently, the Islamist kingdom also forbids women from wearing makeup and Western clothing, competing in sports, swimming in pools, and controlling her own finances. The election took place with a secret vote through the UN's Economic and Social Council, reported The Hill. Newer noted that at least 5 UN members voted for the Saudis to serve 4 years on the commission. The move is the latest in Saudi Arabia's advancement onto the wider global policy-making arena, as the Gulf state has also ironically been sitting on the UN Human Rights Council since 2014. Quote, "It is scandalous that the UN chose a country that has beheaded more people this year than ISIS to be the head of a key human rights panel. Petrodollars and politics have trumped human rights," unquote, Newer had said. In 2016, Saudi Arabia reinforced its restrictive policy against women drivers by expanding the availability of ride-sharing platforms like Uber and Lyft in the kingdom so that women can get around easier without violating Sharia law. Sharia law. That's going up on the Facebook page. American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. I'm going to say one thing and one thing only, and you might hate me from now on, but you know what? It's the truth, and I would rather be hated for the truth than loved for your lies and your disinformation. I don't lie. Mama raised no fool, and Grandma taught me better. And having a childhood that I had and having the run-ins that I had, let me tell you something. I would rather tell the truth than lie to your face. There's enough of that going on. So I'm going to say this. Pack up all the Muslims and get them the hell out of the United States of America. All the ones that have come here in the last 4 years. Pack them up, move them out, get them out of here. We don't want Sharia law. We don't want that bull crap here. We don't want their inequality here. They are not proponents of equality. They are proponents of slavery. Yeah, they are. Look at your history. Who started the slave trade, folks? Who started the slave trade? Yes, ships from America went to Africa, went to areas like, over there in the country of Africa, went to, all these areas in that country and kidnapped people, okay? Kidnapped people, stole them from their country and brought them over here and sold them. Oh, and it just wasn't black people, folks. Get your mind out of that preconceived mess. It was Asians, it was Mexicans, it was you name it, and it was white people as well. And if you look in history, you will see that there was a black man that owned a black slave in America. I don't want to hear it anymore. Pack up these Muslims and get them the hell out of this country now. Oh, and by the way, if anyone is pissed off by me saying that, I would have you check your reality at your door. No, seriously, check out what's going on instead of sitting there looking at everything and complaining about everything and wishing that you can do something. Oh, you want to do something? Then go do it, damn it. Just don't sit there and talk about it. Someone asked me about, 7 or 8 years ago, longer than that now. Over 10 years ago, somebody asked me what I would do if there was a group of people that came to me and said, we need you to lead us in a defense of this nation. I'd say, well, who knows reconnaissance? Who knows logistics? Who knows communication? Let's sit down and talk. But you see, it's going to take the rest of the United States of American citizens who don't want all this crap going on to take the reins and do what they can in their area and make sure that things are the way they want them to be, not the way that the globalists want them to be for America. That is my point. Well, you're prejudiced. You don't want they're leaving their countries to come over here, and their countries are falling apart, and so is this country. Have you not gone to usdebtclock.org? Well, let me go there for you then. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. We are dead broke, folks. We are dead broke. If I can type, I can get there. USDebtClock.org is sitting at a U.S. national debt of $19.8 trillion, folks, in the red. That means we're broke, folks. U.S. federal tax revenue is $3 trillion, $3.3 trillion. And the U.S. federal spending is at $3.9 trillion. Trillion, that's T. Okay? I'm looking at this right now. I will put this link on American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. I'm looking at this, folks. $19,887,563,000,000 in debt. That's what it is. Now, thankfully, American economy is beginning to become a lot better because total state revenue is $2 trillion. Income tax revenue is $1.6 trillion. Payroll tax revenue is $1.1 trillion. Corporate tax revenue is $311 billion. And that's all in the green. That's all happening. That's all, it just goes in. But more money is going out. More money is going out than is coming in. U.S. federal tax revenue, $3.3 trillion. U.S. federal spending, $3.9 trillion. A $600 billion shortfall, folks. You see what I'm saying here? Everybody that has come to this country in the last 10 years that are classified illegal aliens needs to pack their crap and get the hell out. You want freedom, you want liberty, make it in your own country. We don't want you here. If you come here for legitimate reasons, business, otherwise, you got family here, you're visiting, that's fine, okay, I'll shake your hand, I'll buy you coffee. But you're here to just be here, to be a burden on this system, you can pack your crap and get the hell out now. And if you don't leave willingly, there's over 300 million people here. Let's cut that in half. There's 150 million people here that'll make you leave. Okay? The U.S. population is 324 million people. U.S. workforce now is 150 million people, 153 million people. Official unemployed, 7.1 million people. Dollar supply added 2017, $812 trillion. Or excuse me, $812 billion. No. Yeah, $812 billion. Money supply increase, the year-over-year increase in the M2 money supply, 812 billion, that's with a B, boy, $812,273,000,000. U.S. income taxpayers, 120 million people, 120 million people out of a U.S. workforce of 153 million people. Do you see the discrepancy there, folks? I'm going to put this on American Liberty Radio podcast so that you know. Actual unemployed, 14 million people, okay? At least that's what they say. Private sector jobs, 121 million. Not in the labor force. Not in the labor force. 94 million people. Okay? 94 million people are not in the workforce. 94. And 42 million of those people are living in poverty. 31 million are without insurance. Medicare enrollees are 55 million people. Medicaid recipients are 73 million people. Dollar to gold ratio right now is $7,314. Okay? There's a lot in here, folks. There's a lot in here for you guys to take a look at. I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. I want you to take a look at that because it's changing by the second. Okay, folks? USDebtClock.org. Problem number one, we don't have enough taxpayers to support the promises of the politicians that are in office. We don't have enough people in the workforce. How are we going to do that? How are we going to put these people back to work? How are we going to put the people that have been downsized and unemployed, the companies that have been downsized and the people that have been unemployed from these companies, how are we going to put them back to work? I don't have solutions. I've got ideas, but I don't have solutions. And where's the money going to come from for the retraining of these people when the states are in debt? Most of them are. Where is all of this going to come from? I can give you one idea right now. Take 75% of all the money that we send overseas for the military and humanitarian efforts and bring all that money right back here to the United States and stop spending money on war equipment to overthrow other countries and to put that money to use with the people unemployed here. If somebody wants to start their business and start their own business and create something for themselves and for their families, then there should be a grant for them to do so. A grant, free money. How are you going to get that? Bring all that crap back over to the United States. Tell other countries, other companies that have outsourced to other countries that they're going to get cut off if they don't bring their business back to the United States of America. They won't get the tax, credits. They won't get any of that. Or charge them for the tariffs of importing their products over to the United States. They're a U.S. business operating in another country. Let's tax the crap out of them. Bring them back here, put people back to work, and that's the way you can solve the problems. But unfortunately, too many people have their fingers in the pie and have their hands out for free stuff. It's too bad, too. This is American Liberty Radio Network. You can go to American Liberty Radio at USA.com to email me. You can also go to AmericanLibertyRadio.com. This is American Liberty Radio on Spreaker.com, sharing the truth one fact at a time, without all the BS.